Hello and welcome everyone. Today we are the 27th of July and welcome to this bi-weekly cert-manager development meeting. I'm not sure what is on the agenda today. I haven't checked yet. I'm not sure. Do we have any topics on the agenda? It seems future items maybe.
I've not seen anything.
Tony, do you have anything you want to add to the agenda still last minute?
Sure. If I could add something, yeah, I'm interested in the JAT tokens, how to create them and manage them.
Using cert-manager?
I'm also
like the credentials for logging in JSON tokens.
Okay, so
instead of the access token, which expires and stuff like that. So that's what I'm currently working on.
Is that specifically with logging into Venafi products?
That's correct. So like it's a secret in the Kubernetes cluster, and the TPP issuer uses it to log into Venafi. Yeah. So right now I'm doing that using an access token, but the access token expires every 3 months. So I was thinking of switching over to a JSON token and just have that be the way that the Kubernetes cluster communicates with Venafi. Yeah.
yes. Well, I think right now the open source issuer, the Venafi issuer that is part of cert-manager, doesn't support these JWT tokens. So
Okay.
you have to store the access token in a secret and use that in your reference the secret in your issuer configuration, basically, and you have to rotate those secrets.
Okay, so you're saying that right now the cert-manager operator doesn't support JSON tokens here.
Well, yes, the open source one.
Open source. Oh, there's
yeah.
Because I guess I saw a JetStack one.
Yeah. Well, we work for Venafi, so Venafi is our employer. Mael, Ashley, and we work for Venafi, and one of the things that we did for Venafi, which is not part of the cert-manager project, so we cannot go into too much detail in this meeting, and if you're interested, you should do another meeting.
Sure.
But one of the things that we spend some of our time on is this issuer, this Venafi issuer, which is like more advanced than the open source one.
Ah, okay.
And one of the things is the dealing with the tokens. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it. So okay, so I'm understanding now. It's a meeting for the open source cert manager here, but that does give me an interesting thing to talk with my client about. Maybe they would ask to buy the trust protection platform for Kubernetes, right? That's available through Venafi. Okay.
If your client has a Venafi account rep or something like that, that would be it might be worth talking to them, because it's possible that they can sort everything out. It sounds like your client would be interested in various Venafi products that we offer.
Yeah.
Like we can't a lot of that we can't talk about publicly anyway.
Understood.
Except to say that, like, certainly if you want to reach out to any of us after the call, we might be able to put you in touch with someone, or work something out for you to help out.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
But if you have anything open, we're more than happy to help with that. Like if you're using certainly we can confirm that the open source issuer doesn't support JOTs for authentication.
Okay, got it. Sounds
Right
good.
now, yes, indeed.
But look, you got thanks. You just saved me many hours of Google searches by telling me this. Yes, I would have been driving myself crazy looking to how to integrate this. Yes.
There's nothing we love more than saving people many hours.
Yes.
And on YouTube, on top of that.
Yeah.
Wow, so cool. Very nice. What's your experience of the Venafi issuer, the open source one? Is it working for you?
Yeah, my client does have the Venafi trust protection platform. Using it for certificates, and my team set it up using the cert-manager operator to manage the Kubernetes platform certificates. So like the console certificate, the API certificate, things like that. So it's worked very well with that. So yeah, good stuff.
Interesting. So is that like the Kubernetes API certificate that is issued by cert-manager?
Oh no.
What certificate is issued by cert-manager?
Anyway, I think I had a network blip here. Can you repeat that?
Okay. I was wondering, like you were talking about in certificates for an API server. Is that like the Kubernetes API server?
Well, yeah, that's the Kubernetes API. You know how you interact with it. So, like for the console one, when you log in to the Kubernetes front end, you get this cert is not secure or whatever. So the client wanted official Venafi certs so that they wouldn't get that. And yeah, we set up a cluster-wide issuer. And so now all the platform Kubernetes certs are managed by the cert manager. So that, like 60 days before they expire, they'll be rotated. It's great.
It's great to hear. Do you have like any kind of service mesh, or do you use certificates somewhere else in the cluster? Just kind of, this is just curiosity from my end here.
Sure. Yes. So yes, we started with using the cert manager to manage the Kubernetes platform certs. Now, next steps, we're doing a federated service mesh to integrate multiple Kubernetes clusters, and we're looking to use cert manager there. And then the final piece of the puzzle will be making the cert manager available to the application dev teams so that they can consume Venafi certs for their own applications, their own web applications.
Sounds great. Yeah, I think those are kind of use cases that we see quite often. And
yeah. Well, I mean, it's impossible to do this without like the cert manager operator. As a matter of fact, before we use cert manager at this client, the client had manually issued these 3 certs platform, the API, the console, and but there was an OAuth cert as well. And yeah, they had to be manually sealed to be put into Git, and then pushed to the platform. So I mean, that was three infrastructure Kubernetes certs per Kubernetes clusters, and the client had 6 or 7 clusters, so 18. It was so easy to make a manual mistake. You were copy and pasting in Vim. It was so that this is beautiful cert-manager for Kubernetes. Yes.
Yeah. If you rotate your certificates manually, you have to make sure that all your calendar invites are set correctly, or all your calendar reminders are set correctly, so you don't miss any of them.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Crazy. And I mean, and if you miss one, that's your whole site's down. Nobody can get in. It's like a Seb 1 alert, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's important to, like, cert-manager does the automation, but then it's also important to still, like, you can fully trust on cert-manager, but I think it's also still important to kind of monitor how close you're getting to the expiration date. So you're really preventing you're going to 0 outages instead of maybe a few if cert-manager is failing or whatever. I think monitoring is still important. That's what I'm trying to say.
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing more from your side on what you're trying to achieve and how the process is going and so on.
Sure.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Okay. The next topic here, Mael. Or Tony, do you have any other questions or any other remarks still before we move to the next topic?
I'm good. I got a lot out of those little time so far. Very good. Thank you.
All right, great. Well, wanna
it's
talk about
putting
next?
me a big smile on my. Thanks, Tony.
Sure.
Yeah, just a quick update because I know Tim and Ash, you both know everything I'm going to talk about, but for anyone else, the CNCF security audit process has started. We're waiting for OSTIF. So that's the organization that deals with setting up the security audits for the CNCF. And they are drafting a CFP. Is that correct? Yeah, CFP for companies for external auditing companies to respond. We haven't seen, so we're waiting for this. And when we, as part of this CFP thing, they are also evaluating the scope of the audit. And this will determine, as I understand it, this will determine how long the audit will take. So that's, yeah. And then there is the French auditing, they call it French agency. So that's it's the French, French institution, public institution that gives recommendations regarding security. And many French companies are listening closely to these, and also because they have certifications, which sometimes are mandatory. So we had a first call today, and they are basically doing the same thing as the OSTIF. So it's the same form of audits, security audits. We proposed that we wait until we're done with the OSTIF audits before doing anything, because that would be, but it might be duplicating work. And that's and also we had some of us were surprised anyways. French people, right? It was a very good talk, because as I said in this call, I'm really proud of this, because we are the French institutions haven't been really doing anything on this front, and it's finally happening in the open, somehow in the open. So really glad to see this. It's my taxes paying this.
I feel like you have to have an acronym if you want to be a security
Mandatory.
a security audit company.
But the logo is cool.
NC
The NC logo. It's a cool logo.
CSPN.
Just acronyms everywhere.
What's the logo? Oh, it's a world map, and France is in the center of the world map. Okay, I see.
Yeah, that's it for the news. Also, on the front of the governance document, I still have to open the PR. Sorry. And also, before opening the PR, I would like us to find more steering committee members. So I have one confirmed. It's Florian. I think he's going to be a great one for the steering committee. But I still have 3 to go. I think we listed a few other possibilities. So I'll get back to you again on that topic, so that we can finish this before KubeCon, hopefully.
I hadn't heard that Florian was on board. That's really great news.
Yeah. So I had the confirmation just before leaving on vacation. Florian is on board.
Oh, brilliant.
I'm really glad. But still, I don't know if 4 people is the minimum. It's just that Linkerd had 4 people when they started, with a pool of 7 members maximum. So 7 members maximum, but they started with 4. I thought 4 was a reasonable number, but if we can't find as much, we can just. Anyways, let's ask the people we already thought about and see.
I think it would actually work out quite well if it came out to 3 people, because then in a vote, there's always a winning side. With 4, you can get a tie.
Okay, that's a good
true.
reason to lower the number.
or raise it to 5,
Lower the effort.
Raise to 5, yeah.
Oh, 5.
I think 3 would be fine as well. Like, I think 3 would do the trick. Lovely.
Okay, let's start with.
Yeah, thank you because you're the one who's spending a lot of effort kind of organizing all these security audits and this governance stuff and so on. And me personally, I find it not always that simple to follow up on all these emails and to follow up in all these conversations. So I think it's really cool that you do this, and it's really great work. And thank you for doing that. I think it's a great addition to the cert-manager project, and the future will have a lot of benefits from this. So,
yeah. Feels a bit administrative.
It is, yeah.
But
someone's got to administer.
okay, that's it on my updates.
And maybe one more thing I would like to say on the governance side of things. I feel like we could maybe already merge some of the documents before they are like fully finished, and just kind of keep improving them over time. Even like also with the oh, sorry, I forgot what the name is, but the
steering.
Yeah, the steering group. or the steering committee.
Yeah.
Like I think we could like gradually grow that group also, maybe starting from one person, even if we're still kind of waiting for stuff. Or
Okay, yeah, that's true. I shouldn't be waiting for this.
that's kind of how I feel. Yes. Sorry.
No, yeah, that's correct. I shouldn't be blocking this. The government's documenting. So I'll copy paste what I had in HackMD in a PR probably next week. But I have other things in my mind.
Maybe. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say quickly on a similar note, part of the process of going for graduation with the CNCF is, I believe, to get a core infrastructure initiative best practices badge, and that's been sort of on my plate for a while, and I've not looked into it much. I'm reasonably confident we can do it. Like I don't really see any reason we won't be able to achieve it, but consider it stated that we will do that. Like this is for the record. We'll do that. I'll get around to it at some point. It's not an urgent thing that we, as I understand it, it's not urgent that we do it immediately. But there's it.
Or maybe we could do it at the last moment.
Maybe. Like I feel like from having looked at the requirements in the past, I feel like it should be more of a formality for cert-manager than anything particularly strenuous. But yeah, we'll know more when I do it, and I'll obviously share any learnings from that publicly.
Thanks for this, because I have no idea.
It seems pretty easy. Maybe that's false confidence. Maybe I shouldn't be confident about it, but I think it'll be fine.
It relates to this open SSF scorecards, right? Or is it not the same company?
I'm not sure if it's the same thing. It's the Core Infrastructure Initiative, which is part of OpenSSF, but I'm not sure if that's the same thing as that. It's this website, bestpractices.coreinfrastructure.org. Like as I understand it, like this is like sort of related to the scorecard thing, but not exactly the same. Like this is a list of things that you need to do to get the badge. Like things like Linux are on this, so it's pretty well respected.
Oh, there is this scorecard. Yeah, it shows it here on this PR. Like it also gives us information somewhere here. Insights. Oh no, maybe actions. Yes, this one here. It shows you some things that we can improve. Oh no, it doesn't. Oh, it's security, I think. Yeah, security, code scanning. Here there are some things that come from the scorecard thing, and maybe those kind of map to these best practices.
I should imagine there's some overlap for sure.
Hey guys, sorry, I need to drop, but yeah, great meeting up, and I will be reaching out. Okay.
Amazing. Yeah,
Thanks.
glad to hear that. Great to meet you, Tony.
Yes.
Have a nice day.
And we have someone coming, Enrique. Welcome, Enrique.
Hey, all, thanks. I missed the first half an hour, but it was something I raised last meeting. So if you guys have time for it, I'll love to chat about it. But yeah, carry on.
Maybe we can talk about it now.
Yeah, we
have
just
exhausted all our topics.
So last week, or the 13th of July, I think it was Peter who came on, and there was a discussion around rotation of CAs and propagation. So I've hit this problem quite a bit over the last few years using cert-manager, where you end up creating your own internal PKI effectively for all your pods and services and different namespaces. Even right when you want to isolate namespaces, you create a CA per namespace. And sometimes you branch all that off a cluster issuer, or you make an issuer per namespace. And when it comes to rotation of these root CAs or rotation of these issuers, there's no propagation today. So it doesn't propagate to the leaf certificate. So you have multiple ways of doing it. Either you do your in-house solution and your own operators, and you watch for things to change, and you delete secrets manually. You extend the period of these CAs to be extremely large, so 6 months or 9 months, and then you force the renewal of smaller CAs to be a shorter renewal time, and do it like that. Or what you can even do is set the rotation policy on the root CA to never rotate the secret. And that's something I've seen. So these issues have been going on for a while. I think the outcome was to write a tutorial, and I wanted to see what the options are and what's the best way to move on this one.
Do I remember correctly that it was Peter who said he might try and write that tutorial?
I think so, yes, on
Yeah.
the bi-weekly meeting notes.
Yeah, that sounds right. Definitely, we recognize the problem that you're having. Like, it's definitely a thing. I don't think there's been any development on that front. It's tricky this as a problem, because so my approach personally, if I were to be setting up a private PKI, would be to have a 25-year cert that I don't have to worry about rotating. Because if your root cert is exposed, the only path to remediation there is to remove it from all the trust stores everywhere. So actually, I lean on the trust management side of things to remediate that problem, because ultimately you need a plan for if your root cert's exposed, and like just rotating it isn't good enough in that case. So I turn it into like a trust management problem in my head, and that's where I end up landing. So I that's how I would approach it. But that said, we absolutely should enable these things to be rotated, and it certainly shouldn't just silently break. Shouldn't be issuing certs off that will expire after the issuer will expire and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But there hasn't been any progress on it as far as I'm aware. I can chase up with Peter. I know he's a very busy man, so it could just be that he hasn't had time to think about it. I can chase up for him and see what he thinks about it.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. I think. Yeah, I think the option of extending is probably what we're going to go for in the short-term solution, and then having a way of, since we have operators running, have a more automated way in case there's something wrong going on. Yeah, I just wanted to raise it and see basically what is the suggested approach, because I think I've done it multiple ways in different projects, and every time I've had issues with things going wrong. So I wanted to see if there was like a official recommendation from the community or from the maintainers on what is the best way, because I saw there was a new trust manager operator. I think it's still in alpha or beta mode. Still haven't played around with that, so maybe something to explore.
Yeah, I trust manager is what I would recommend looking into, because it's going to make that trust problem easier to handle, and by that, like, that enables the CA rotation when you do it manually. And then if you have a really long-lived CA, you don't have to do it manually unless there's been a compromise or something, because obviously it'll last longer than you'll be retired by the time the certificate expires. I would do it that way personally. I'm comfortable with that. That said,
Okay.
like I said before, there is a need to fix things about this. And it's one of these things that's always like almost a priority, but never quite gets there in terms of actually being fixed. But there's a bunch of stuff we can do to make cert-manager handle this case better.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah. If you wanted to get involved with contributing to the project, certainly we could find some time to sort of mentor and help with that if you've got that time available. If not, I totally understand it's a big commitment. But
yeah, well, maybe we can look at the tutorial. I do have a lot on at the moment, but yeah, it feels like I've consumed a lot from the cert-manager community, not giving back enough. So I'm happy to review the tutorial or be the person that tries out the tutorial. I'm more than happy.
That would be excellent. Yeah, if like that is contribution, and it helps so much. So thank you for being willing to be involved. It's a big help.
cool. And I also gotta say, I love the T-shirt. I'm a big fan of the bleachers.
Yeah, man. I got this from the Shepherd's Bush gig.
Very good.
It got cancelled because he got COVID, and he came back a few months later, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I saw them a few months ago. They came here for a festival as well in the UK.
You've got excellent taste. Fantastic. Was there anything else we could help you with, Enrique?
No, that's it. That was the only concern.
Great. I'll chase up with Peter and see what he says, and I'll maybe try and get an update posted in the cert-manager dev channel on Kubernetes Slack.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm on it. So just ping me.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. Amazing.
Right.
Cheers. I'll drop.
Thank you for joining. Is there anything else we still want to discuss? No?
I publicly put it out there again on this this issue, which has spawned a cert-manager issue and sort of semi-related about a public certificate history on a certificate. Just like on the record that this is being thought about. Like, I don't really know. I don't think adding a certificate request as a source is the way we would go with this. Like, this is just the thing that spawned it. And this has turned into a request for like a public certificate history. It's just a problem that needs some thought, but maybe now isn't the time to be discussing it. I just wanted to mention.
I have one
so
question.
This issue is about, okay, sorry. The issue is a bit confusing because the title doesn't suggest.
Yeah, so this isn't the best link I could have given, to be fair, but this is the question which spawned the idea. This issue can maybe be closed or something, but there is a link somewhere in it that
At the end.
that links to it. Yeah, and like this issue has the sort of thought process that led to public certificate history potentially being the approach we might take, because that what this user actually wants is a list of every cert that was ever issued for a given certificate for trust purposes. Like, if they're all root certificates, he wants to trust all of them, and using certificate requests as a source in Trust Manager would achieve that in some way, but they're kind of ephemeral, right? They might get garbage collected. They probably will get garbage collected. So you can't rely on that for the foundation of all of your trust. So having like a append-only config map, if you like, that just has every public part of the cert in it, would achieve that. You could like then just use that as a source in Trust Manager directly.
Oh, the purpose is rotation.
I guess, yeah, like it's ultimately about trust. But like, you can kind of look at it and say there's also an auditing use case. Like, maybe for one particularly important certificate, you want every revision saved.
I was wondering. I guess right now your solution sounds a bit different, but I was wondering because James was also commenting here, I think, somewhere. Is that correct? Maybe it was another issue.
A different issue, yeah.
Yeah, but he was saying that this would enable us to use like read-only secrets. And I was wondering, is there, like, if we, instead of having one output secret from a certificate request, we had like a list of output secrets. How would we switch to a newer version and mount those new versions into our containers? Or was that never a solution that was proposed?
I don't recognize that suggestion. I might just be misunderstanding, but I don't know of any request to do that.
Okay, maybe I misunderstood, but I thought like that one way of implementing this history would be basically to never update a secret, but only add new secrets with like slightly different names, with maybe a suffix. And then the thing that I was wondering is how to update the containers with these new mount points.
Yeah, that seems more difficult than. Well, it's quite easy to just trust one secret in your pods, but when you have to map them together, I don't know how you would easily automate that.
Yeah. Or maybe it could be like one latest secret and then like a bunch of old secrets that kind of copy into, and then our controller would copy the latest non-mutable secrets into the mutable secrets, something like that.
That sounds difficult to manage.
Yeah, well, like in the latest cert-manager release, there will be some changes to how we detect that a certificate, no, that a secret is out of date or it's not valid anymore. So it will improve things normally.
Can I ask
it's
what
like
happened?
It's only slightly related to this stuff. Sorry.
Sorry, completely unrelated. What happened with the memory leak that was found a few days ago? I didn't follow, but I think you found a solution, and it was due to
Yes.
logging issue.
Yes. So maybe for YouTube, for the subscribers on YouTube, I'll try to explain it here again. And for you, Mael, of course. We released a new version 112.3, and this version contains a bug fix. It fixes a one-character bug which caused invalid log messages and a memory leak. If you look at the issue that is linked here, you'll see that this is actually cherry pick of another pull request. And in this original pull request, I actually found that there is a bug in cert-manager, or in the latest version of cert-manager, 112, and also on the master. And this bug actually caused two different issues. First of all, it caused this issue with high memory and CPU consumption. And then second of all, it caused this C injector prints invalid JSON log message. To be clear, maybe, let me see here. Okay, I'll update this, because what's important here is that this is actually only relevant for CA injector. So it's a bug fix in the CA injector. And basically what was a problem in CA injector, we made some changes in the latest release. And one of the changes basically moved an argument from an inner function scope to an outer function scope. So if you look at this code here, let me see if I can pull the file. Yeah, so this log argument previously was actually an argument of this inner function. And because of this refactoring, it wasn't really refactoring, it was more like an upgrade. It actually moved from the inner scope to the outer scope, the log parameter. And the code in the function remained the same. But what we did in the function is we reassigned log. So we said log equals log with values. So we added these values to the log parameter, right? So if you move the log parameter from the inner function to the outer function, it means that it will be reused every time that this inner function is invoked, basically. So it will reuse this log value.
Growing and growing the object
Yes,
with values. Oh,
but honestly,
Go is not nice on this. It doesn't help. Go bad Go.
Indeed, but it wasn't super like it wasn't like a mega memory leak. Like it only slowly grew, so you had to replicate it over time. Like you couldn't really figure it out quickly. It's because it doesn't really add a lot of information here. I actually thought it added more information, but it only adds like this type, secret, and certificate, and those are like a couple of fields max. So it's only if you run it for like multiple hours, maybe a day or two, or one day, I guess. It kind of grows very big, but it is never garbage collected, this log thing. Because this function, I think, is only called once on startup, and this function is called every time that a secret change is observed.
How did you find it? This is a tricky bug.
Well, I already saw that this was an issue before, but I didn't realize what the implications were. I was looking at this because of the other issue here. So the JSON log message, invalid JSON log message, was actually an issue that was reported much earlier, but I didn't have a lot of information here. And mostly I didn't know exactly what the cause was. I saw that like some items were, like, for example, here secret is in here twice.
Oh.
And so if you look at kind of where it was logged, you find out it was logged here, and then you saw actually, okay, well, this was a reassignment and not like a new initialization of a log variable. I kind of found that, but I wasn't certain about it actually being the cause for this. And I'm actually still not 100% certain, but what I am certain about is that it is the cause of the memory leak issue. And that is now fixed. So I hope that this person doesn't come back and say that this
nice work.
Case. Yeah, thanks.
I didn't even have time to investigate. The only thing I said was, is there a pprof profile? And that's it.
Oh yeah, so
that was my participation.
I just want to say that this has been very helpful. So let me just call out this one person who helped with the pprof profile, because this has been super helpful. Like, that is also how I found where the issue was. So this is basically the output here. So these helped me greatly. These profiles have helped me a lot. So they clearly show that basically it has something to do with logging. So that was really great. So that was another indication for me that it was kind of related to logging.
Wow, nice bug story.
Yeah,
and it is recorded. Nice. You can share that.
The thing is with these P profiles, or like these profiles, it's not always clear where the problem lies, right? Because what could have been the case too here is that just the function was called a lot of times, right? Maybe it was not the with values function that took a long time. Maybe it's the with values function that is called like very often. And that would kind of generate similar profiles. So
you
I wasn't 100% certain.
See you later, guys. Bye.
Thanks. All right. That
Thanks
was
for
the
the
full explanation here.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, I'll stop the recording. Thank you for watching this video.